Hey there, how's it going? My name is Keegan Kirk. I do tarot readings here on YouTube. If you are new here, it's nice to meet you. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. I hope that you get lots of guidance and insight from whatever comes out in the reading today. I do want to talk to you guys just really quickly about a couple of things. It's not going to take long. Please don't skip ahead. There's not going to be a mid-roll ad, so please just bear with me as I talk to you about this. It'll mean a lot to me if you don't skip ahead. First thing I want to talk to you guys about are personal readings for February. I'm still offering special prices for my recorded readings. So that's 30 minutes for $45, 60 minutes for $75. You send me your questions in advance. I record your reading and I send it to you. I'm also starting something brand new. I've never offered this before. For the entire time that I've been on YouTube, it's probably the most requested thing from people. And I've not done it until now. But starting in February, I'm going to do live one-on-one sessions, which means you will have a specific day and time that you and I connect one-on-one live. You can ask me whatever you want. I'll pull cards. We can talk about things. If you want me to look more deeply into something, if you want me to change directions, if you have specific things that come through that you want me to explore, you'll have full control over that session. That'll be a 60-minute session with me. It's priced at $150. If you are interested in doing a reading with me, all you have to do is send an email to keegantarot@gmail.com to book that reading. And I look forward to hearing from those of you who want to do personal readings with me in February. I'm super excited to see who takes advantage of the live sessions because I know lots of you have asked me to do those. For the February general reading spread, I'm going to be taking a look at areas where you might need to deal with some blocks. So we're going to take a look at the most urgent need, then we'll look at spiritual, emotional, and mental blocks, and then we'll take a look at any unseen factors that you might not even be aware of. So that's for the general reading, the one that you're watching now. Now I will be doing an extended reading for channel members, and in that reading, I'm actually just going to use oracle cards and a few tarot decks to get messages through from your spirit guides, your ancestors, and your higher self pertaining to the blocks and the information that comes out in the general reading. Now, I've had lots of people ask me how to become a channel member because YouTube makes it a little bit complicated. So I just want to walk you guys through that really quickly. So if you go to YouTube and you search for my channel, if you click on a PC on my channel, the easiest way to join is to click that join button. It's going to bring up this that you see. You can click join. It takes you through the entire process. It's much more complicated to do on your phone. Now, I will put a link in the description box below that will also allow you to take a look, to click through, to try on your phone. But I'm just telling you, it's so much easier if you can do it from a web browser or use a browser on your phone to sign up. Thank you so much for bearing with me as I walked you through those things. We are going to go ahead and go right into the general reading now. I've put up a reminder here for you so you can just have a reminder of what the spread is. I will walk you through that as we explore the cards. Okay, Taurus, let's take a look at your spread here. Keep in mind the center 3 cards that you see right here represent the most urgent need. I'm going to start with the card that appeared right dead center in the middle of all of this, which is a Magician card. Now, I like the energy of this Magician card. It feels like you're really trying to put effort into manifesting things. You're getting very clear about what it is that you want to bring into your life. You're being very... I feel like you're being really clear too. You're really focused in on what it is that you're wanting to call forth. What's interesting to me though, is that there's frustration that's coming through with these other 2 cards, okay? So at the top you have the 4 of Cups, which is reversed, and then you have the 7 of Pentacles, also reversed. So let's talk about what this means in terms of urgent need coming through for you, okay? One of the things that happens when we start to manifest, okay, is that sometimes we can get to a place, represented here by the 7 of Pentacles, where we really start to feel like it's not working, things aren't coming through the way that I want them to. We start to become disillusioned with the process. We start to have doubts come through. We start to wonder if maybe it's all just, made up and it's all just fake and pretend, okay? I feel like that's really where you're sitting at. That's the core underneath everything else. That's the core energy coming through. But you're still trying to stick to it, okay? That's where the problem's happening, okay? So I'm going to talk to you just about these 2 cards, and then we'll talk about what this 4 of Cups sitting up at the top means for you, okay? So you're putting in effort. You're saying to the universe, here's what I want, here's what I want, here's what I want. Then that doubt starts to creep in. And your energy is flowing through with, I really don't think that this is going to work. I really don't think that this is going to happen, but I'm just going to keep trying to do it anyway, just in case it does. Okay, that just in case it does is something that isn't heard or understood by the universe. all the universe is hearing from you is, I don't believe in this. I don't believe this is going to work. I don't think that I'm going to get the thing that I wanted. And the universe is like, okay, well then we won't give it to you because we don't want to do anything that shocks you and makes you feel like, scared or upset or worried or overly concerned. So when you know for sure what you want and you can really believe that it's something that you can manifest, that you deserve, you can bring it to you, we're ready and waiting, okay? Because again, the energy here, I don't sense anything that's, there's nothing wrong with your connection with the universe is what I'm saying here, okay? The universe is just responding to your energy. Now let's talk about the Four of Cups that's sitting up at the top, okay? When the Four of Cups is reversed, it does represent there being kind of a turning point, okay? There's something that you need to think about in terms of what it is that you're asking for, why you don't believe that it's possible to bring it to you easily, and deal with that thing, okay? Now, it's kind of funny doing this reading right now because I totally relate to this. I don't really have anything in Taurus. I'm a Scorpio, so I'm kind of like opposite of the natal wheel with you guys. But in terms of my chart, I don't have anything that resides in Taurus. There's nothing there. Obviously I have a house placement, but I understand this energy because it's something that I've had to navigate multiple times. It's something I still have to navigate in certain situations, okay? When we have something that prevents us from believing that something is possible, whether that is we don't believe that the type of partner that we want is out there, or we don't believe that not everyone is going to be playing some sort of like manipulation game with our emotions. We don't believe that we can make a living doing something that we love. We don't believe that we can lose weight. We don't believe that we can find someone who thinks that we're attractive, or even something as simple as we don't believe that money can flow to us easily, right? We think you have to work hard and struggle in order to make money. Even when we look and we see examples of people who make money easily, people who don't really do anything other than just like be themselves, and they manage to make money doing that, we'll still internalize that. Well, but that's that person. That's not me. Okay? Anytime we have those limiting thoughts, those limiting beliefs that get in the way of what we're trying to manifest, we have to figure out where those things came from, right? We can deal with those. What needs to happen first before you can start this manifesting outward, right? Asking, you have to allow yourself to go inward and really figure out what it is that needs to shift in terms of your outlook, your belief, the direction that you're trying to push yourself. Sometimes, even when we get all of that stuff going, right? We've dealt with the lack, we've dealt with the scarcity, we've dealt with the insecurity, we've dealt with the confidence issues, we've dealt with the trauma, right? We've done all this work and we say to the universe, hey, give me this. If we've also said to the universe consistently as part of our relationship with the universe, or we've said to our guides, I don't want to do things that get in my way. And then we push ourselves a little bit more and we say to the universe, okay, direct me towards my highest good and remove anything from my path that doesn't align to that. And that becomes our mantra with the universe. Sometimes the things that we want, sometimes the things that we're trying to manifest fall into the category of not being for our good. And why is that? Maybe there's something that we need to learn. Maybe there's something that we don't see as to why bringing that thing into our life is not what is best for us. But where you're sitting right now really does feel like a place where the most urgent need for you, it's twofold. The first, most important, is turning inward and trying to pinpoint exactly what it is that's blocking your efforts, because it's always something inside of us. It's never the universe withholding. It's never the universe punishing. That's not how the universe works. We do those things to ourselves. Okay? Now, the other layer to that is once you've dealt with yourself, I think there's a little bit of fine tuning that needs to happen in terms of how you're communicating to the universe what it is that you're trying to bring to you. Okay? Sometimes we're not being specific enough. Sometimes it's we're connecting things that don't need to be connected. I think some of you are like, what does that mean? Okay, so I can give you an easy one, okay? Sometimes people say, I have to lose weight or I have to change my body in order to find a loving relationship. Those two things are not connected. You might make a connection in your mind about it, right? But they're not connected. So if you're saying to the universe, bring me a relationship, bring me someone to love me. But inside, you're constantly, there's this energy and there's this like chatter inside your mind. No one's going to love you at this weight. No one's going to love you the way that you look right now. The universe hears both of those, okay? It's not like only when we say to the universe, hey, I want to talk to you. No, it's always there with us. It's all, our guides are always there with us. Our higher self is always connected to us. We're always connected to the universe. That energy, our thoughts, our intention, what we're, how we're vibrating energetically, that's the way that we communicate to the universe. So as long as you're taking a breath, as long as you're here, as long as you're in this realm as a human, that's the way that you communicate. So it's not like any of that stuff is kept secret. So you say to the universe, bring me somebody, bring me a loving relationship. And the universe is like, well, I can't do that because it's against your rule book. You don't think that that's possible until you've done this to your body. I would love to sit there. Here are 10 people who would love you right now as you are. I can't send them to you because you won't believe them. You'll doubt them. You'll think they have some sort of ulterior motive. You'll think that they're trying to play a game with you. You'll constantly have doubts and be triggered inside the relationship because you don't believe that you're lovable as you are right now. So look at things inside where you've made connections and try your best to unravel. And it's hard. It's hard, guys. Even for people who know all of this. Like me, I help people with this stuff, but sometimes it's still hard for me to go internally and really deal with myself and try to find those lingering things that are inside that, I still have to unravel. So really try your best to do that work. That's what's coming through most urgently. Okay. Now we're going to move up here. These are spiritual blocks that are coming through. It's interesting what cards you have here. So you have the Four of Wands. I'm just going to start. I'll move myself over as I work through them. Four of Wands coming out reversed here. This feels to me like a situation where it's not something necessarily that has already happened. Okay. Because again, it's coming through as a block. For some of you, this might be something that happened as a result of it happening. You find yourself kind of like, okay, now what? But I think for most of you, this is something that you're dealing with. You're trying to figure out how to actually make this happen. And this is really about kind of moving on from something. It could be actually moving out, like leaving a home, moving out of an actual place where you live. But it feels like turning away from something and moving on. Admitting to yourself, acknowledging something that you thought was stable is actually not. And again, this could be even like a career move, right? Because again, I'm reading for a large audience here, so I want to give examples. Because one thing that I've noticed is sometimes people come into these readings and they don't understand that this is a general reading. Okay, I'm reading for however many people will eventually watch this. So for some of you, yeah, you're pondering leaving a relationship, but there are other people who will watch this who aren't even in a relationship. And what they're actually pondering here is leaving a city, leaving a job, ending a friendship. Okay? So it's important for me to give multiple examples. It's not me trying to make this be very vague. I want people to be able to hear this card means moving on from something, leaving something that no longer feels stable to you. However that resonates with you, listen to the message coming through. Okay? The reason for that, okay? The reason for feeling this push to move on and not quite knowing, not being able to do it. The reason for that is that you're really trying to figure out you're trying to figure out a couple of things, and it feels really based mostly on control. So I'm going to use job as an example, okay? Just because I want to use job as an example. You're realizing that you struggle in being able to assert your own will and your own desires in situations where you feel like you don't have the full control. And it kind of brings up this situation where when someone has authority over you, it does not feel comforting. It triggers things inside of you where you want to rebel against it. But if it's in a situation like with work, where your career or your job in some way has control over you, meaning if I don't go to work, if I quit this job, how am I going to pay my bills? If I say what I really want to say in this job, how am I going to be able to deal with things if being honest or speaking up takes away my security? So it's this back and forth. I just kind of feel the energy going back and forth between wanting to fight, wanting to rebel against what you perceive as being like power or authority or control being exerted over you, but then also kind of like surrendering to it, almost like relinquishing even more of your control to that. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit more in terms of like the spiritual block. It's not either or, it's not black and white. What I'm feeling is very like black and white. Okay, so it's like there's this anger and this resentment that flares up around something that you perceive to be like someone trying to control you or someone having power over you. Again, if this makes more sense to you in terms of a relationship dynamic, dealing with yourself, whatever it is, listen to the message. Don't get stuck on the example I'm giving. You have this resentment that flares up, and then you say to yourself, but you need this. What would you do if this wasn't here? How would you take care of yourself? What would it feel like if you lost this person? Like whatever, again, translate this into what's specific for you. So the resentment flares up. You calm that resentment by basically shaming yourself, guilting yourself, judging yourself. And then you just surrender to, well, this is it. This is all I can do. Okay, that's your ego, guys. That's your ego. Your ego comes in and tells you, don't be stupid. You have to take care of yourself. You have to survive. You have to fight for your survival. And then you just kind of put up with stuff, right? So the block here is an understanding that there's middle ground, right? There's middle ground. You can believe, and again, in the case of a job, in the case of a partner, you can look at the situation and say, this is not the only job. This is not the only person on this entire planet that's for me. That's just fact. I know that's fact. So maybe I'm not going to walk out today, but I am going to start putting out applications at other places. I'm going to start looking at job postings. I'm going to maybe ponder, is there a way of me being able to like cut back a little bit or make adjustments to my budget so that maybe I can take a pay cut, or maybe I can work less hours. Maybe I can take 2 part-time things and put them together and make that work. Maybe I should just have a conversation with my manager. Maybe I should have a conversation with my partner, right? That middle ground. The middle ground is what's really important, because there's so much possibility in between. But there's very much like this black or white thinking. I either put up with it, or I end up in a situation in which I'm all alone and everything falls apart and the world is terrifying. And that's not necessarily the reality of the situation. Now, you have the Ten of Cups here. Now, this is a wonderful card. The Ten of Cups showing up here upright, but it's in the place of a spiritual block. So what is this? Okay. Ten of Cups is about being utterly satisfied, happy, thrilled, thankful, grateful for the life that you have, especially in terms of looking at things like love and support. Ten of Cups can, yes, represent a notion of like a loving, thriving, healthy, romantic relationship, but it can also, right? It doesn't mean if someone says like, hey, Keegan, you know what? I don't think I ever want to have like a romantic relationship. I wouldn't say to them, well, you can never have the Ten of Cups, because they can. They can have amazing friends in their life who they care about, who care about them. They can have, great connections with their family, bloodline family, chosen family. They can feel like their life is fully 100% realized and meaningful without having to have a romantic partner. But this is about looking at your life and saying, wow, I can't even believe how amazing this is. You're blocked from this. Why? Ask yourself why. What is it that you inside of yourself think you lack or that you don't possess that's preventing you from having this? Because you can have this. It's shown up in this reading upright, but it's blocked from you. Not really, right? Because it's shown up for you. You're blocking yourself from taking it. It's almost like I'm offering you this card and you're like, oh no, I can't. Like, no, that's not you. That's not for me. That's for someone else. That's the energy that I'm getting from that. Okay. Let's take a look here and see what's going on in terms of emotion. This is kind of interesting to me. You have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. I can't tell if that's focusing or not. There we go. You have the Two of Pentacles reversed. And then look here. You have the Eight of Wands upright. So again, like I was saying with this Ten of Cups, I'm going to start with this Eight of Wands because here's the thing. Change is wanting to come in. The universe wants to bring in change. It wants to bring in the stuff that you're asking for. It's going to bring in opportunity, bring in news, nudge you in the right direction. It's all of this potential is sitting here. Okay? And it wants to be quick. I can feel the urgency. Keep in mind, guys, right? This Eight of Wands, it's sitting right next to that Magician for me as I'm looking at this reading, right? So I'm like, okay, there's so much potential here. The universe is like, yes, 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 yes. Why is it not working? Because your emotions are here. Two of Pentacles, I've already kind of talked about this a little bit when I was talking up here. I do kind of look at the whole spread as I'm talking to you guys when I do it like this and I can see all of the cards. This is that black and white thinking. This is that place where it's like you can't fully commit one way or the other. When I was talking about like, I can either leave or I can suffer and be destitute and freaked out. So I guess I'll stay because of those two options. That's the least terrifying. Right? You're blocking this energy. You're blocking the potential energy because it feels inside to me, honestly, it feels like a situation where it's like, it feels like a self-worth issue. So I'm moving into this. I want to just bear with me for a moment because I want to just really sit with the energy of this card. The Wheel of Fortune, when it's reversed, there are lots of things that are associated with this card. Okay. Sometimes this card can represent things like karmic stuff, right? Karmic lessons, karmic debt, things that we're working through. This card also represents like patterns and cycles that we're stuck in, that we've been stuck in for a long period of time. The Wheel of Fortune, when I talked about control, I was also talking about the combination of the Emperor reverse and the Wheel of Fortune reverse. That's always about control. Either feeling like you don't have enough control, there's someone who has too much control over you, life being out of control in general, whatever it is, right? That energy is showing up here. Okay. The other thing that I'm picking up that's kind of like, the reason I said I wanted to sit with the energy for a minute, it's subtle in terms of my ability to really like get through all the other stuff that I just said and take a look. But there's this notion of just like feeling like you have bad luck. Okay. And I did air quotes. If you weren't watching me, I did air quotes. Because you don't actually have bad luck. I'm going to jump ahead for just a second, guys, because I want to show you what I mean. The next place we're going to talk about, you have the High Priestess out of one deck, reversed. In terms of unseen factors, which we'll talk about over here, the High Priestess coming through, upright. You have the Magician upright, dead center, and then High Priestess upright as well. Mentally, you think the High Priestess is reversed here. With the Wheel of Fortune, that's why I'm saying it's this thing that I think might be the underlying shift that you need to address, right? Going back to that Four of Cups. You're not unlucky. There is no such thing as an unlucky person. There's a person who maybe doesn't quite know how to accept the gifts that are being offered. But the gifts are always trying to be offered. Always. But if there's something that's blocking us, if there's something that's in our way, if there's something that's in our path, there's a lesson that we need to learn, there's a belief that we need to let go of, but there's something that we need to heal, there's a trauma, that's whatever it is, right? Those gifts cannot come through to us until we clear the path. And so this Wheel of Fortune is really, I think, a continuation of what I was talking about kind of at the beginning, where you have to take a look at things and ask yourself, what is it inside of me that has continued to operate and continues to operate even though I've dealt with other stuff? Because here's the other thing I'll say with this Magician, and also when I picked up this High Priestess card here, again, not to jump ahead, but I prefer to read this way, honestly. I'm not like limited in walking you guys through it bit by bit. And when I picked this card up, immediately I just felt like there's so many things that you can look at in your life and realize that you are able to make progress forward. So for example, if you look at, okay, and again, don't give up on me because I'm not speaking exactly to you, and I'm going to give you this perfect example. I'm going to give one example first. Look at the person that you're in a relationship with now. Okay? If that is a good relationship, you're happy with it, it's going well. If that's who I'm talking to right now, the people who are currently in a good relationship. If you look at that relationship and you think back to the relationships where you got cheated on, you were lied to, it was always fighting, the bad stuff, the bad relationships, right? As you navigated those bad relationships and you became more and more clear about what you would and would not accept in terms of a romantic partner, eventually you manifested that partner that you're with now and the healthy relationship that you have now. Okay? If you're not in a healthy relationship and you're still in that cycle of having like bad, unhealthy, toxic relationships, okay, you need to translate that into whatever makes sense for you, right? Maybe for you, you worked a lot of like dead-end jobs and you didn't have a lot of money, and then you ended up in a place where you have money, right? However you need to look at it. But in your life, you have things that you can point to and realize, wait, I don't have bad luck. There have been plenty of times when I've been lucky. There have been plenty of times when I've been able to accomplish goals that I set my mind to. I have things that I can look at. I'm going to just sort of shift up into this area, okay? So I've already shown you this mental blocks. You have the High Priestess. I'm talking about that currently. You have the Moon reversed, and then you have Justice reversed. Okay? I wanted you to see the cards. They're all major arcana cards. Mentally, that's where almost all of this energy is like screaming at me. In your mind, you feel like you are in a place where there's all of this fear, all this insecurity, there's all of this questioning about why are things the way that they are? Why do things feel like they're so unfair? Why am I not being given what I'm asking for? Why, like, there's just this mental frustration, and your mind is so focused on not having, not being able to create, not feeling like you're getting what you're asking for, not feeling like you're getting what you feel you deserve, not feeling like your needs are being met, right? There's all this stuff in your head. And then you're spending all of your energy trying to manifest, trying to make a change. But in your mind, in your spirit, in your emotions, there's this belief that it's not going to work because you don't deserve it, or you can't make it happen, or you shouldn't ask for it. That has to shift. It has to shift. It's very important, okay? Now we're going to look at the unseen factors. I've already talked to you about this one because I couldn't resist it. You're not cut off. Your intuition is it's there, but you're questioning it. You're not fully connected. But you're not cursed. You don't have bad luck. You don't deserve to be stressed. There's nothing that's truly in your way other than your own belief about what is possible. Okay? Now, for those of you who have been like, but what about my relationship? What about my relationship? Okay, it's showing up here in terms of unseen factors. If you have concerns about relationship, it's interesting because I feel like a lot of you don't. I feel like a lot of you actually, your relationship, the person that you're with, you're kind of like, that's good. It's other stuff. Okay? But Two of Cups has shown up here, reversed. Four of Wands is again here. I've already talked to you about the Four of Wands because it was up here. Okay? So the reason I'm not talking about it separately is because I feel like it's shown up here again after I've already addressed it. I'm going to make a connection with this card. If you are in a relationship in which your needs are not met, you don't feel supported, you don't feel secure, you don't feel safe, you feel like it's just Groundhog's Day, cycle repeating, but you're making the decision to stay in it rather than leaving it, moving on, energetically, you're saying you don't believe you deserve to be loved better than this. For those of you who have watched this primarily wanting input based on a relationship, okay? If you stay in a relationship which is not good for you, that is toxic, that is abusive, that is violent, that is full of emotional abuse, if you stay in that, what is that doing in terms of your energy? What is that doing in terms of what you're saying internally about yourself, what you deserve, your worth? Okay. For some of you, you're not making the connection that your relationship or the types of relationships you tend to go for are the key to understanding the things that are blocking your ability to manifest the life that you want. And the way to get out of that is to say to yourself, what is the type of relationship I really want? What is the type of relationship that I want to manifest? What's the type of partner that I truly want? And again, if you're in a loving, happy relationship, you're good with it, then, great. But for those of you that are, you're aware, that's the thing too. It's like you're aware that this isn't what I want. This isn't what I expected when I got to this relationship. Like, here's the thing about a good, healthy relationship, okay? Barring some sort of catastrophe, okay? Meaning like, yeah, stuff happens in life. Sometimes the people that we love get sick. Sometimes the people that we love, we hit rough spots, okay? But if you eliminate those, healthy, loving, well-adjusted relationships feel good far more than they feel bad. And if you're in a relationship where those good moments are so rare, those good moments are so infrequent, that when they happen, you amplify them to be some sort of miracle, and you hold on to that miracle moment as being your source of hope, that there's potential in the relationship, right? When 10% of the time you get those miracles and 90% of the time you're crying, you're upset, you're scared, you're confused, leave that relationship. Leave it. Sometimes it's hard to get out of those relationships, but you need to leave it. Okay. I'm going to wrap up the general reading there. I really hope that this leads to you being able to tune inward and just ask yourself, where do I need to love myself more? Where do I need to change my perception of myself in order to allow things to flow towards me? Because if you can do that, it happens fast when you let it in, okay? I will be doing an extended reading based on this general reading, the energy that's come out. I will be asking for messages to come through from your spirit guides, your ancestors, and your higher self. I'll be using oracle decks primarily for that, with the tarot deck just to give me some additional insight and clarity. That extended reading will pretty much be me doing an intuitive read based on those oracle cards and what I sense coming through energetically. If you're interested in that, the link for that extended reading is below, as well as the process you would need to follow to sign up as a channel member to get access to it. If you don't want to do that, but you feel like you need a little bit more insight or guidance, you want to talk to somebody more in depth about this, you can send me an email, keegantarot@gmail.com, for a personal reading. And if neither of those are when we interact next, then I'll see you in a couple of weeks when I come back to do another general reading for YouTube. Okay, bye. Hey guys, I'm jumping in here at the end of the reading just to let you know that I have joined TikTok. And so if you're interested in following me there, you can find me at Keegan Kirk. And I would love to see you. If you are going to follow me and you're someone who's subscribed to YouTube, or you found me through YouTube, then take a moment just to leave a comment on any of the videos that I've posted on TikTok and say I'm coming from YouTube, just so I know that you're there and I can say hello.